Thanks. Yes, hi, I'm Kendra. Yeah, I know, almost done. I will tell you what the two major points are that you should remember. I will tell you as I go, which those are. The rest is like details. You can look it up. I will upload the slides, so it's fine. Yeah, let me tell you something about language improvements and gender mainstreaming in the last half year. This is primarily about the German language file this time. Always, let me start with our group to improve settings, make settings understandable. This time we were able to look at the search for Elias 11. Administration of the search. Thanks to Lifos for the support for this. So most of those changes are implemented already. Some are left, but will be still in Elias 11, I'm sure. So this was mostly about the settings tab. This will be shown bigger at the next slide. The Lucene tab, for example, maybe you have seen that already. There is a new info box at the top with a link to the README. And also, for example, it was important for us to make to let admins understand that only Lucene means full text search, and not only title and description. Yeah, there were some new headers to help admins, grasp the structure within the settings. And we also had a look at the search results screen as well. Yeah, current work is about the item group presentation, the block behavior. And next will also be some discussion about notification and the news settings. But as I said, let me show you just an example of things that we did. New language for the first header, systemweite Suche. Not only say again, this is settings for the search, but say what's this about? For example, we changed the order, the stacking of the settings, for example. Which kind do you choose? This should be at the top. Is it just title or description, or do you want to use Lucene and have the full thing? For example, yeah. This belongs to our inclusive language, gender mainstreaming working group. Sometimes people like Alex Miller have really nice ideas to make tiny changes possible. This, I'm sure you know, this is the gallery. And if a user had not published their profile, it just says undisclosed instead of the name. So, yeah, I don't know, you're not supposed to know. No one knows, and now it says profile not published, Profil wurde nicht veröffentlicht, or something along the lines of that. So, yeah, tiny changes to make this a little bit more understandable. Yeah, our main work, as you all, I'm sure know already, is replacing male nouns by inclusive language in the German file. So the reminder with Elias 10 and 11, we started with 9 already. There are hardly any objects and contexts left with the Teilnehmer, so the participants. yeah, I encourage you to always look at the feature wiki details, the feature requests. They are always called change language entries for, and then the version. It's all there. Yeah, you should look it up. So yeah, we got a lot done for the Teilnehmer already. Okay, now is the first point that you need to understand and remember. There are hardly any male nouns in general left. Okay, so that for itself is not true, unless speaking of users in some way. So Benutzer, Nutzer, Anwender, all of this. There are hundreds and hundreds still left. But apart from that, we will be looking at that. There are, and Teilnehmer as well, for example, in the test, of course. But apart from that, there are really hardly any left. So you can be sure if your idea is to introduce new male nouns in the German file as a developer, that's not a good idea. Most of them we have resolved. So that's one of the things. Yeah, for details, what about the Teilnehmer? So for Elias 9 and 10, we were able to look at, for example, group and course. Of course, there are a lot of Teilnehmer, or were in course and group, because as far as I understood, a long time ago, Teilnehmer participant was a way to call all the local roles, member, admins, tutor. And then it seems to have spread to every corner of the Elias system, to very many of the objects and services. So currently for Elias 11, we have been looking at, for example, exercise, booking pool, mail, quite many. And yeah, as I said, there are really not many left. So we got a lot of work done thanks to the working group. Yeah, maybe you don't need to read all of the details. It's fine. Maybe you can still remember that, I think 2 years ago, when I tried to get you to understand what is our approach to something like the tutor. How do we approach, like terminology-wise, language-wise, the changes that we make? So the idea being, there is a tutor, this is the concept, the idea at the top. So the terms, how do you call the idea that you have about this? All those terms are like tutor, 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 in the course, in the exercise, in the blog, for some reason, And then this doesn't actually turn out to be true. So some of those, there is like quite a clear idea about this tutor, in the sense of it's a local role. There are like certain permissions. So in the course, this is still true, but still we wanted, a new like non-male word for that, which is Kursbetreuung now for some time. This is only some of the examples. We got rid of all of it, and in many cases, like, I don't know, in the exercise, in the LTI, we got rid of it. There was something else, to be exact, which was meant here. So I tried to do not the same, but something akin to that. It's not really the same case as a tutor, because that's like quite specific. And Teilnehmer, so the concept, the idea about what is it that makes a user a participant. So touched the object, started the task at hand. Yeah, you will know better, maybe even than me, what's happening there. And that's quite general, right? So this is still true for, even if you have a look at it, for a lot of corners. In Elias, for example, in the survey, where we said, okay, so someone takes part, what we want to call them is Befragte, or also, like in many cases, Person, die teilgenommen hat, for example, who took part. So yeah, this is true for quite some cases. For others, we said, no, this is actually not really the case. Members is what's meant. Mitglied. For example, of course, again, in the course, in the group, also learning sequence. So we call them Mitglieder, members again, or, no, like here and here, or Personen auf der Warteliste, on the waiting list. So that's even more specific, also more, like in a technical sense, more specific. They aren't members yet, they have been registered or have registered themselves to become members, if they may. So that's even more specific. And then there are cases like in the exercise, someone is part of a team upload case, so we call them team Mitglied, member of the team. Okay, so that was a little bit longer and more in detail than I planned, but I think it's fun. So this is just an idea, to give you an idea in the sense of the booking pool. So you can see there are on this one screen, which was the participants, the Teilnehmer tab is now a little bit less specific, to be honest, right? With persons, with Personen at the tab. Mindestens eine Person war bereits zugewiesen. And then a header of the table is also Person. And then here für diese Person buchen, I don't know, booking for this person. So, which should be fine because the idea of touching the object, participating, doing the task is not like really as fitting for the booking pool, I'd say. Okay, so what else? The work on Teilnehmer, on participant, was only, to be fair, only some of the work in the last half of year. We did some cleaning up, which took quite some time, so that's not all your fault, because some of those we weren't able to find years ago. We have been doing this for now, like several years. But also, please don't reintroduce mail nouns, so this would be nice. There was some administrator, tutor, Besitzer who weren't there, who shouldn't have been there again. So yeah, we took some time to do that, but I would say by and large, this works quite well already, to not have those reintroduced. Also, a big success, Alexandra has already mentioned that all of the text for our current online help work, which is on 10, have already been changed and improved, which was also about the Teilnehmer, the participant, mostly, but also like second round, tidying up stuff like the author and, I don't know, docent, lecturer, or whatever. And also some oddities like Interessent, however, to be said in English, interested party or something, which had never been in Elias, but only in the help. So this was only possible because of ongoing support by head of help and also by Xenia and Eliasa. So they did huge work within online help team to get this done. So thanks. This was the time to clap. Yeah. Yeah, you can also read, or you should, if you're able to read in German, look at our blog post where we describe this kind of work, like, you know, in a more detailed way. Yeah, the link will be in the uploaded files. So this is maybe a nice way to do that. Yeah, I want to thank all of you in the working groups. You know who you are involved. Also the ILEA Society. Yeah, for the support, ongoing support. And if there's funding available, Tomke said that OSDN will give some of the funding, so thank you very, very much. And please ask anytime if you have questions, also now. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Kendra. I have one question. I understood you are only touching the German file, right?
I mean, primarily. So, of course, there's stuff that Chris Potter works on, that we are in contact. You know, there is no like really fixed process because it's just too much to get all of this like specifically into the English, and what about all the other languages? You know, if there are
Why I'm
changes.
asking is, sometimes you have to not simply change a word, but really change the sentence. And so there is the danger that German and English wording is slightly drifting apart from each other. Are you often accounting that? Are you often getting to this problem?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a danger, but that's just like reality. And maybe if you remember the style guide, or some of the stuff that Chris puts into the style guide, having a like very clear similarity between languages is not the first priority. It should always be right within one language first. I know what you mean. I know that's not like really a good answer to all of that. I think that's reality still. And then in some cases, I mean, he is aware, you know, English language file wise, he's very aware of what we are doing. Others are as well. So yeah, it's not really a very like straightforward process. I think still over the years, I mean, you know, his work is like looking at specific objects, services, and then all of the language variables, hundreds of them, and going through them. So he's, you know, looking at what does the German say at the moment, and taking this into account again into his work. But yeah, as I said, I mean, there are also other languages, so what about those? I actually don't really know. Okay, thanks.
Just a short comment from my side, because I'm also involved in that problem. I had a talk yesterday with Chris, and he's also now taking care about the other translations a bit, because he's doing this for English, and now he started to create a data collection with all these changes. So he wants to take care, and we will get into contact with us so that we really have a documentation of what is changing, which is mainly related to a part of this work which is related to the settings, because let's say the gender mainstreaming stuff is, you really have to handle differently. So in English, it's a total different story. So of course there will be a gap between, in the terminology, but especially in this thing that we saw before, like with the search settings and so on, that things that we now try to define differently, that they are also documented, and that those translators who can do it, let's say in French or Spanish or so, benefit from this information and say, okay, I have to think about reorganizing my language variables as well.
Do these translators rely on the English file or?
On the English file, because we noticed that they all translate from the English version, not from the German. Okay.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the work that you've done. I know so many people who have been fucked up for years about administrator and all that. So in general, this is very important. There's one thing that kind of crossed my mind when I saw the tab called person, and this is something maybe for future considerations, that there's an unclear aspect about the term person. Ilias is an account-based system, and there are other systems, for example, like HIS-One campus management systems, who on an identity management level think about persons and accounts differently. So in HIS-One, I have a person ID, but many accounts. So the concept of a person in some systems is a more holistic thing, which can be represented by many accounts. In Ilias, for example, if I've got 3 accounts, and so under persons, I will be there 3 times. You get what I mean? So this is something,
Okay.
And I don't know how that translates to English then.
Yeah.
If person is used in English as well. So this might be something, if Ilias ever changed its course from being account-oriented to having something like unifying, then we need to think about this. And maybe, I don't have a better solution, to be honest, but I just saw that and I thought, okay, so the person, Marco Glaubitz, will be there 3 times. Many people dread this, but this is kind of something I think we have to live with. Teilnehmer didn't had the kind of the same problem, but person has this holistic concept of a being.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so it's not. Yeah. It's not really introduced by the changes that we made, because there was this kind of idea before. I am very interested in that. So I'm thankful for those kinds of ideas, because we, as I said, have to look at Benutzer like hundreds of times. We will be doing that. So this question remains, but I think it's sometimes a philosophical question, and we do try to be very practical about this work. It's still very interesting, and I have had those thoughts. We will keep it in mind. I really mean it. Thanks.
Thank you, Kendra. And that's the fun.